and welcome to our YouTube channel, Relationship Builders Forum. My name is Amara.
And my name is Gospel.
And if you're new on our channel, please kindly hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you know when we put content out. To all our returning subscribers, it's always a joy to have you. Today, we want to have a conversation around intentional love.
Yes, intentional love. People talk about love. People talk about love as what they feel. You know, it's something everyone wants to be part of. I know love is beautiful because I'm actually enjoying my love life. You can't expect love to happen by default.
Yep.
You have to be intentional about loving someone.
I think the word intentional, some people see it more as a cliche, but you have to be present in your love relationship. It cannot be like default, like you said. So what are the ways that we can ensure that our love towards our significant other is intentional?
One of the ways to be intentional about love is communication. You have to be part of that relationship by expressing yourself, by being effective in terms of how you share. You can't say you're in a relationship with someone, but you're not open to share your heart, open to share your goals, open to share your challenges as well, and not just how you feel about the person.
Absolutely. So communication goes beyond verbal communication. I know you talked about sharing your heart, sharing your soul, sharing everything. However, sometimes in communication, people look beyond the words. People see the action. People see the scarf. Like you're saying something and the person's like, No, they don't actually believe what you're saying. So non-verbal communication is also part of communication, and it's really important that people feel a sense of being heard in their relationship. There's quite a lot of videos we've done on communication. We might not spend time to really unpack that, but if you have to be intentional in your love relationship, you have to communicate. So the person needs to feel heard and you need to feel understood. If that's not happening, there is a miscommunication happening there.
Definitely. And communication is not about saying what you feel, it's about listening to the other person. It's very important you're active in terms of listening. Part of listening is not just listening to their words. You have to listen with your heart. Beyond your ears, listen with your heart. Because for every word that a person speaks, there is a feeling, there is something they might not put together in words. For instance, a woman says to you, "You don't love me anymore."
Wow.
She's not saying in verbal terms you don't really love her. She's saying there are things you need to do to let her feel how much you love her. Definitely.
Oh. Anyways, we have another point, which is respect. Respect. So I'm saying, you don't respect me. Why don't you respect me? And some men in relationship, they crave for this. Respect is really important. And it's not just for the man, it's also for the woman. And there's something you always say, the respect is
mutual.
It's mutual. And there's another one. You said respect is something you earn. Something you earn. And it's not just something that you demand from somebody. You get to a point where you earn that respect from that person. So respecting that person's feeling, respecting their thoughts. Don't say, "I don't understand why you think that way." You're not them. That's why they're different. So you need to respect the fact that they have those feelings. Their feelings are valid. It's their feelings, not your feelings. Respect their boundaries. A no is a no.
Obviously, mutual respect is very important, like you said. But beyond that, always know that respect could be given unconditionally. Yes, you want this person to earn your respect, but if you really want to be intentional about loving, do your part, and your part is to respect this person. It doesn't matter whether you're the husband or the wife. Everyone deserves to be respected. Respect the fact that they are humans. Respect their dignity. Respect their privacy. Also respect them in terms of decision making. You have to seek their consent in major decisions. I'm a husband. I wouldn't say, okay, because I'm the man in the relationship, I make decisions and I don't care to know what you feel or what you think about it. This is what love is about. Be intentional about carrying the other person along. You respect them when you also value their contribution. They are not going to say the same thing you want them to say. There's a decision to be made. Put it out there, seek their opinion, and value their opinion. Because it crushes someone's soul when they tell you things, they advise you on what you need to do, you don't take
Take
their
it on,
advice, it shows you don't respect them.
That's really deep.
Mm.
Because sometimes when we talk about respect, we're always looking at respect in terms of actions, respect from an African context, the way you speak and all of that, which of course is a part of respect. But I think just taking that person's opinion as well, or seeking that person's opinion, is also a part of respect. And we don't often emphasize that part of respect in relationship, because I think it's really valid.
The other point I want to also bring across to you when you want to be intentional about love is empathy. You can't say you love someone, but you can't put yourself in the person's shoes. You need to feel what this person feels. You need to go through their challenges with them. Obviously, you can't experience what they are experiencing, but if you're empathetic, you have to show a sense of kindness, sense of care, sense of, I know you're going through a difficult patch, but I'm right there with you. That's empathy.
And I think part of empathy as well is you recognizing that you might not always be on the same page in terms of being high spirited. You know, one person might always have a way of just going past their challenges and just crushing their goals. But also recognizing that, you know, somebody might be having a low time in that relationship, and recognizing that they might need some support. Just putting yourself in their shoes, not trying to rationalize, I don't know why they're always feeling down. I don't know why they're always feeling sad. We all process things differently. And part of empathy is just you being patient with that individual to go through the process, because everyone's got a process in life, everyone's got a journey in life, and maybe that person might not be catching up as fast as you expect. Being empathetic is saying, you know what, I'm here. I recognize that it's taking you time to get to where you need to be, but I would support you whilst you're on that journey.
And I also want to say that people have seasons in life. There are different seasons, season on the job, season in life circle, and be very empathetic to understand the season this person is going through and learn how to be there with the person. You can't say you love someone, but when things are tough, when the relationship is becoming critical, when you think they're not what you want them to be, you quit or you run away from them. Empathy is about, I love you in spite of what you're going through, and I want to be there to support you, to feel what you feel.
I think just to touch on the next point, which is part of what you just mentioned, support is critical. Because like you talked about seasons and people being in different seasons, just someone understanding that you're there, you're that shoulder to rely on you. It's really important. Just supporting people while they go through that process. And that support might be in terms of maybe giving them some space to process it, not just badgering them and questions. It might just be just saying, you know what, I know you need this time and space to think, to clear your head. You can do that, and that's part of support. Support might also be in the sense they might be struggling on a job, and then maybe you've come across a podcast or you've come across some sort of, you know, resource or book that might be helpful, and you could say, I know you're struggling with this and this might be useful. It just, you know, pointing them in that direction where they might need that support, they might need that help. It might just be in terms of you saying, I'm going to pay for a vacation so you can go and process things, just have that space. That's also part of support. Or you can be there. Sometimes support is just you being silent. You don't have to say anything, because some people feel like to show that I'm encouraging somebody, I must always use words. You know, silence sometimes is good. That person knows you can just be there and just listen without saying anything. That's support.
Support also could include material things. Maybe this person needs financial support. You have to be there to give it. It doesn't matter if you're the man or the woman, anyone can support the other. Support can also be about encouraging this person to reach their dreams, reach their goals. You shouldn't be the person that will stifle their goals and the aspirations of someone you say you love. Be very intentional about helping them get to their dreams. Sometimes it might also require you to sacrifice your own personal dreams and goals because you want this person to make it in life. Always remember, if the other person you love is succeeding, you're also succeeding. There's no room for competition here. You guys need to complement each other. That's what support is about. Support is also about help developing yourself to be in a capacity where you can be of help to them. Take for instance, this was someone to give an advice, but you're clueless, you don't know what to say, you don't know what to do. You can't love someone and you're just saying I love you when you don't grow your capacity to love. So if you want to be there for the person, always remember that you cannot do what you're not. You be because before you're able to do. So we always say that love is about being the best to do the best. So develop yourself to have the capacity to support, to have the capacity to communicate, to have the capacity to show empathy.
Absolutely.
That's what intentional love is about.
Yeah. I'd say the next thing that it's really critical in demonstrating and showing intentional love is trust. Trust is really important. So basically, somebody needs to say, I can rely on you. I can depend on you. Like if your words is not something I can second guess, and it's really important. And I think this is a make or break in relationship. A lot of conflict stems from lack of trust. When trust erodes, when trust chips away, then there are issues in relationship. And I say that's one of the major red flags in relationship. When there's no trust in the relationship, then you know that there's nothing there. There's no substance in that relationship. And you need to think about how can we rebuild trust. So trust is one of the things you have to be intentional about. And, having that conversation, I know there are times that I could ask my husband in a scale of 1 to 10, tell me, do you trust me? And it's really important. And trust is different. Trust for money is very different from other things. Because some people can trust you as an individual, but they don't trust you with money. So it's really important that you're having conversations about that. So in that scale of 1 to 10, say for instance, you're rated, say a 5. Just be vulnerable in having that conversation about why have you rated me a 5? What can I do to improve, my trust level or the trust level in the relationship? Because I think it's really important.
And I also want to add that sometimes people want trust to be unconditional. Whether you're in marriage or you're planning to get married to this person you claim to love, always remember that trust is earned. Trust is not unconditional. Love can be unconditional because obviously everyone wants to ignore your imperfections and love you for who you are, but then they can't trust you if you're not trustworthy. So if you want to be intentional in loving someone, make yourself trustworthy. Even if you've done things in the past that obviously showed you're not trustworthy, you have a timeline. Give them the opportunity to see you create new markers, new experiences that will build your trust bank account in this relationship.
Absolutely.
Such that when they see the things you've done, they know, well, he has changed. I can trust him.
Yeah.
And don't expect trust to be automatic if things have happened in the past that eroded your trust in that relationship. The other point we want to talk about is shared values. You can't be intentional about relationship with someone or loving someone if you guys don't have shared values. We always quote the scripture, Amos 3:3, and two work together except they agree. There has to be agreement in terms of the life direction, what you believe, your goals. If you don't have compatibility in terms of your values, your beliefs, then you're not loving intentionally.
You have to align yourselves. Like, what are your values? What are your beliefs? And how does this, tally with mine? I think it's really important because this is where people have conflicting issues. So you have a specific view about, life, about money, because it's really important that you talk about, some people have a different perspective about money and how they spend money and their relationship with money. And maybe that might be totally different from your view or your perspective about money. And this can be a potential issue where you're constantly having conflict. The other point is around parenting. You might have values about parenting based on, where you're coming from. And that may be very different to somebody else. You might have views. I mean, there's so many areas. So when we're talking about values, it's not just saying your belief, I'm a believer, because not every believer can marry every believer. So you have to delve beyond that. What are your core values about money? What are your core values about? Be very specific about those things. You have to see if you're in alignment or if you're in misalignment. If you're in misalignment, having the conversations about why do you have a misalignment in that area to see if there are potentials for realigning yourself. If there are no potentials for realigning yourself, you have no business being together.
And when you're married, sometimes you started married with shared values, but over time, people start drifting away from those common values. I also want to say to you that being intentional requires you to always come together and realign your values. Yes, make sure that you're speaking one language, that you're united not just in terms of physical unity, but you're united in your goals, your visions, everything working together as a family or as a couple.
Yeah, just being committed as well, because that's another thing that can help in demonstrating intentional love. You're just saying to yourself, you've got these values, but I'm going to be committed to building myself. I'm going to be committed to learning. I'm going to be committed to unlearning. I'm going to be committed to doing things differently. Because you might find in situations where you have a misaligned value, for instance, what can we do about it? And just you saying, I'm going to be committed to upskilling myself. I'm going to be committed to doing things differently. I'm going to be committed to changing my mindset by the knowledge that I get. So commitment is another way you can foster intentional love in your relationship. Being committed to that individual, it's really important. Because some people say they're in a relationship but they're not committed to that relationship. You've got a relationship with an individual, but you're just having a relationship with their money, or their relationship with their looks, or their relationship with whatever it is that you're going for, but not the person.
So in relationship, commitment is critical. Yes, you say you love someone, but do you show commitment to that relationship? Or do you run away from the relationship when things are not how you expect them to be?
Yeah.
Obviously, conflict is one of the things that show how much committed we are to a relationship. And you know, some people have lost the opportunity of getting married to this person they should have gotten married to, because they didn't have the emotional muscle to go through challenging times with this person. Maybe there was a conflict and you said, I couldn't deal. This person is trouble in the making. But obviously, if you're committed to a relationship, you should learn to navigate tough times.
It's about nurturing that relationship.
Definitely.
There are seasons in relationship, and if you're only committed to that person in the summertime of that relationship, and then it's winter time where, of course, there might be some hardship, it's cold, there might be some issues, and then you say, you know what, I'm committed in the summertime, now it's winter time, sorry, you do you, I do myself. Then that's not commitment. And you need to stick with that person. That's part of it, comes with the package, really. So you have to nurture that relationship.
Part of being intentional in loving someone is you're supposed to spend time with them. Quality time, not just quantity of time spent with them. Quality time engaging with them. Switching off your phones if it's necessary, turn off the TV and discuss with them deep level conversation. Get to know what is going on in their life. Quality time, spend time with them, because if you don't actually spend time with someone, you won't really know that person, you won't really build that connection with that person. Especially when quality time is their love language, it is something you have to give them, because when you spend time with people, you actually give your life.
So quality time, this deepens the bond in relationship. It does deepen the bond, because and I want to speak critically to people who have been in a relationship a long time. So you've been in a relationship, say 10 years, 15 years, 20 years with this one individual. There is always a tendency to get to a point where you take each other for granted and you feel like, what's there to spend? He knows what I'm thinking about before I even say it. But I think you need to invest more time in your relationship, investing time in building or consolidating that bond, because people grow apart in relationship, and it just starts with one event, and before you know what's happening, you're waking up to someone that you don't recognize anymore. So just investing quality time, talking about your relationship, how has it fared in the week or in a month. Choose a time and space where you reevaluate your relationship and what you can do going forward.
While you spend time with this person, part of what you also need to do to show your intentionality in loving them is to appreciate them. Appreciate them for who they are, appreciate them for what they do in the relationship, appreciate them for the qualities they bring. Sometimes we focus on the negative side of things. We always want to point out the things they are not doing, the things we want from them. But have you taken time to appreciate them? It's not everyone that would want to spend their life with you because you have your imperfection. But if this person has decided to be there for you through thick and thin, when you're nobody, now you're somebody, please make out time to appreciate them.
Yeah, let them know you're their biggest fan. You know, just love on them. And sometimes people wait for the big things before they can show appreciation. You can also celebrate the little milestones, you know, whatever that is. Just make it big, loud it, make it special, extra special. Cook them a nice meal. talk to friends about it and say, you're doing well. That's one way they feel that sense of support, that sense of appreciation, that sense of being part of something big. I know some of you might be listening to this conversation and you're like, there were other aspects that you can show intentional love. There are other things that, possibly can be done in relationship. Please leave us your comments. Let us know. Remember, this is a community. We're all learning together. And it would be important for people to read your comment and see what your take is in terms of intentional love, or how intentional love can be demonstrated in relationship. And for those who are thinking about settling down or still in a courtship and thinking about, should I settle, should I not settle? Think about ways you can foster the relationship. Give it a chance. Not just throwing the towel and saying, look, it's over. Maybe there's some potential in that relationship, and it might just be that you are not giving it time. It might just be that you're not supporting that individual enough. It might just be that you're not even invested in that relationship. So give it some time. I hope you enjoyed this conversation today. And in case you forgot to hit the subscribe button, now is the time to do it. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. And to all our returning subscribers, it's always a joy. Until the next episode, it's goodbye.